So as a delta neutral market maker, if the price of Bitcoin goes up 10%, okay, my short position went down 10%, but my stack, which is long 1x, went up 10%. Yeah. So I still have $10 million. But what's left over? The funding fee that's paid to me.
Yeah.
So we're not here to bet on the direction of the price. Anybody who tried to bet on the direction of the price will be destroyed. We are delta neutral. We are price neutral. But we are a market maker because we're supplying liquidity to the marketplace for people who want to make leveraged trades. And they're willing to pay a fee for that. Well, that fee is a free market interest rate that fluctuates with the implied volatility of the marketplace and the overall bullishness or bearishness of the marketplace and the balance of shorts versus longs. Well, 41% is insane. I mean, you have to be an immoral, corrupt individual who wants to practice usury against people to get 26% in credit cards.
Yeah.
You can just be a delta neutral truth money advocate and rake in 41%.
That's wild.
It's insane. So
is this 41%? Is it like in a stable coin, or are you getting it in native yield?
That's actually paid in Bitcoin.
So you're ending up with 41% more Bitcoin at the end of the year. Wow, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, and depending on which market you make, you can chase stable coins or you can chase Bitcoin. It depends what marketplace you want to make.
What are your thoughts on like all these different blockchains? Are we? Is your personal opinion we're headed for a multi-chain future? Are you a maximalist? I mean, where do you stand on the whole thing?
I'm definitely a Bitcoin maxi. I'm a Bitcoin maxi because Bitcoin is engineered money and nothing else is money. So if anything is trying to compete with Bitcoin, it's a scam because we don't need a new Bitcoin. We have money. We have engineered money. It's the perfect form of money. We're beyond that. However, I do need tools to help manage my money. And rather than going with some bankers, yes, I'd rather have my counterparty risk as a decentralized smart contract that I can analyze, that I can audit, and that I can know what rights and abilities I have without having to ask permission from a trusted custodian. So I do believe.
So it sounds like you think there's some value in some of these other chains.
I do believe that. I do believe that 99% of them are shitcoins and scams. But I also believe that you need a domain like Ethereum.
Yeah.
The biggest problem Ethereum had, first of all, it used to be proof of work, right?
I miss those days.
I do too, and I know.
So we can get even into a longer debate about proof of work and proof of stake, and just kind of like discuss the differences. But I think there is something really special about proof of work, right? This idea of like you said, there's all these costs. There's
a cost of production.
There's a cost of production there. There's it was really. Yeah. Satoshi really modeled it like super well, and the miners have to sell. Like you don't want the miners mining all the coins. Like in proof of stake, it's like you just hold all the coins, and you just get interest on it. It's like the way the world works essentially right now, right?
Yeah.
But with proof of work, like you're forced. Like you said, miners are forced sellers. Like, and guess what? That supply goes out. People can purchase it. They can buy it. I mean, I think there's a beautiful design in that system.
Yes. That's now what most people have never heard of is called proof of transfer, and proof of transfer is an algorithm that Stacks uses.
Stacks. I've heard a lot about Stacks.
So
I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, Stacks is proof of transfer is amazing because basically it makes Stacks like an anchor chain. It's anchored. In other words, you can't remember when Ethereum had its problem. Most people think Ethereum is Ethereum and Ethereum Classic is like some spinoff.
Yeah,
Ethereum Classic is the classic. It's the real one.
It's the real chain before they decided to roll
Ethereum's the
back
spinoff.
the
Yeah, exactly. What did they do? They rolled back. Well, Stacks doesn't let you roll back because each not each and every block, but each chunk of blocks is actually written into the Bitcoin blockchain. So you'd have to change the Bitcoin blockchain to change and roll back Stacks. So you get finality and settlement. And I think that's really important because, and the other thing is they have something called SBTC rolling out. Now, what's really interesting is when I said earlier that you would bridge your Bitcoin, a lot of what happens right now with market makers is it's actually a taxable event to go from wrapped Bitcoin back to Bitcoin.
That's crazy. I mean, that's absurd.
Yeah, it's not like an in-kind type thing. It's not treated that way. And it should be because it's the same dang thing.
It's fucking silly.
Yeah. But it's a taxable event. So there's limitations to becoming a market maker because there's tax obligations, there's strategy, there's different things.
I mean, is it like, I'm wondering if you just like, because, if you think about it logically, it's like essentially, it represents the same. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could.
Well, because you have the asset backing the liability, but because there's a disconnect between the ecosystems, it's a taxable event.
That doesn't seem right. I mean,
I
feel like the IRS would would not want, like, if they tried to mess with you, and like you could basically force them to offer challenge them to go to court or whatever to make the decision final. It seems like they would just accept your accounting if you just made the argument, not created the taxable event. I don't know. I'm saying.
not sure they'd accept
Somebody
it.
told
I
me
think you
this,
wouldn't get in trouble. I think you wouldn't get in trouble.
Somebody told me this, that they wouldn't.
But you'd spend all your profits fighting them.
Yeah, well, they said that they wouldn't want to take it to court because they wouldn't want to be forced to commit to that ruling. That's what somebody told me. So like a lot of times, like my understanding is if you just kind of like do, what you think is the best, what you think is right, like, and you do it consistently, like they're not going to challenge your methodology just because they don't want that. They don't want to put that as a final ruling. I think that
set a precedent.
Set a precedent.
Exactly.
Yeah, where they have to like stick to that, which is obviously doesn't make any sense.
Right. So SBTC, which is going to be like the bridge Bitcoin, but it's not really a bridge because it's the same ecosystem. The Stacks ecosystem is the Bitcoin chain.
I don't like. For whatever reason, I've watched like 20 videos on Stacks, and I just can't like. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I can't wrap my mind around how this thing works.
People get really upset with the token. Yeah. They get really upset with the token, and that's another angle that we can go down.
Yeah, I mean, I am personally not a maximalist. Like, I don't get upset with any of these things. Like, I think just free market, free ideas. Not everything to me is money. Like, Bitcoin is amazing. Like, that's like you said. You kept saying like it's money. Like for me, Bitcoin is like the hardest money ever. And like everybody I talk to is like that gets involved in crypto is like focus on Bitcoin first, understand Bitcoin, allocate to Bitcoin. Like that is my opinion. But like I have fun on Ethereum, like degenning and buying NFTs and like fucking around, like doing all this stuff. Like to me, like that's not money. That's just like fun. There's like little pieces of art or messing around with DeFi, like all this other stuff. It's like not everything has to be like money, right?
Exactly. Well, what's happening.
So that's my thought.
Our generation has been disenfranchised. They expect us to invest in Nike and put more kids in sweatshops. Yeah. They expect us to invest in Lockheed Martin just to send missiles out and start wars and kill people.
Yeah.
Our generation is saying, first of all, why am I going to invest in this index, which some of the companies in this index go against my core beliefs, and I don't want to support them and profit from what they're doing. And then at the same time, the upside is so limited. Like at any time, the market could like, collapse.
They've gone through like, venture capital, pre-seed, seed raise.
You are the exit liquidity.
Reg D. It's like, oh, and then finally after like all the value has been generated and distributed to like the insiders, like, hey, like you can go, come here, peasant. We'll give you permission to buy this on this, stock, this brokerage account or whatever.
That setup has completely...
We got to protect you from yourself. It's like, we're your daddy. We're going to decide whether, but you can go to like, this is what makes me laugh. It's like, you can go to a fucking gas station and blow your whole paycheck on scratch offs. You can go to a fucking casino, get fucked up and waste all your money. You can do all this shit.